Thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you for allowing SDG Alliance to present at the eSummit 2020. Now let's look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and more specifically to the sustainability gap that there seems to be on a global scale. Globally, only 26% of all citizens is familiar or somewhat familiar with the United Nations Global Goals, and 42% has heard of them but don't know anything about them or have not even heard of them. If we dive into Australia, we can see that 16% of the population is somewhat familiar or very familiar with it, and a mere 60% of the Australian population has heard of them or haven't heard of them, and that's massive. That's a big gap. Australia is currently ranked 37th on the Sustainable Development Report rankings. So there's huge opportunity in gaining extra knowledge about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And if we look into the built environment, which is responsible for 37% of the global CO2 emissions, there is even a larger opportunity to start with the SDGs, as they are responsible for over 22% of the global problems. Now, we'd like to introduce the solution to solving wicked problems. And we set up a project that uses the double design loop to solve these problems. We use the double design loop to really focus at the point of view of all stakeholders involved in the sustainability discussion. Private companies, citizens, and governments all need to be on board to solve the 17 goals and to create a sustainable future to live and work in. We've had partnerships with the Strata Community Association, the Building Designers Association of Australia, and Consulting Surveyors National. They currently have 15 to 20 of their stakeholders, members, and academics involved in a project where we look at their point of view. We work with them on digital boards to understand the context of their customers and see what their pains and gains are, and then start a process of ideating new ideas and new business models to create prototypes of services that we then can validate and scale into industry leading solutions to the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, we have some preliminary insights of the project that we would like to share with you. On the top hand right, you can see a QR code. So if you grab your phone, scan the code, you can still participate in this so we gain more knowledge. But what you can see if you look closer is that good health and well-being, affordable and clean energy, and decent work and growth are very important aspects of the life of a surveyor as a professional. They think that that's something that they want to prioritize, and they see it currently in their job as important. There is a big gap, however, in sustainable consumption and production, which is circular economy, and in achieving no poverty, where spatial and surveyor industry is a very important one to make sure that the land you own is measured correctly. Now we enter a phase of digital creation. We use canvases to participate, stakeholders work together and define the strategic leadership, education, collaboration themes that need to be resolved, and definitions across sector that need to be understood if we're talking sustainability. We need the same values. We need to create the values together, and we need to prioritize the steps that we have to take from getting insights into solving a solution where we work as partnerships to create a new built environment. And that building by design, building by circular design actually is the way to move forward. If you look at the built environment as a circle, you start with planning, actions, and land measurements, constructing buildings, managing buildings, servicing them from a strata perspective, and finally deconstruction and renewal. So you can see there's a lot more to understanding the SDGs than just sustainability or the environment. There's a lot of work to be done in aligning professional and industry associations and their members across all value chains. And for surveyors in general, or more in particular, there is the opportunity to lead because they are at the beginning of the cycle, to visualize the impact of the UN SDGs and train and educate to change behavior of all in the industry. Thank you so much for having us being able to present. Join us in our quest to move and create a better world. Scan the QR code and participate.